Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Imagine holding in your hand a small copper coin minted over 7 decades ago, just 1 cent in face value, yet now commanding an astronomical $538 million in the collector's market, a staggering transformation of worth that sounds almost too surreal to believe, yet it's absolutely real. And that coin is none other than the elusive and mysterious 1951 wheat penny from the United States, a relic of numismatic history that has captured the attention of coin collectors, historians, and treasure hunters alike due to a unique convergence of rare minting errors, historic metallurgical properties, production anomalies, and highly specific die varieties that elevate it from ordinary to legendary status, making it one of the most coveted and prized coins ever struck by the U.S. Mint. And as we unravel the secrets of this copper marvel, you'll come to understand exactly why this unassuming penny is now regarded as an object of immense monetary and historical value, with stories of hidden hoards, extraordinary auction battles, and unexpected attic discoveries only further fueling its mythos among the numismatic elite and the general public, because this isn't just about metal, it's about mistakes, history, and the unrepeatable events that culminated in a handful of 1951 wheat pennies turning into the ultimate American coin jackpot. And to comprehend the full scale of its worth, one must first understand what the wheat penny represents. Minted from 1909 to 1958, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse symbolizing agricultural prosperity, but the 1951 wheat penny, though produced in vast numbers, harbors a collection of anomalies and specific versions so rare that even seasoned collectors have spent decades seeking them out with little success, and among these variations, the most valuable include the 1951 double die obverse, where slight misalignment during the striking process caused visible duplication in the words, "Liberty," or, "In God We Trust," making the error easily detectable under magnification and adding immense collectible value due to its rarity and visibility. And then there's the elusive 1951 off-center strike errors, which occurred when the coin blank wasn't properly centered, resulting in a crescent-shaped coin where a portion of the design is missing. A defect considered a major rarity, especially when more than 50% of the coin is off-center yet the date remains legible, something that drastically amplifies its worth. And not to be overlooked is the transitional planchet error, where a 1951 penny was mistakenly struck on a leftover planchet from a previous or different year, such as the steel planchets used in 1943 due to copper shortages during World War II, creating a spectacular anomaly where a copper penny was struck using a steel planchet or vice versa, and these mistakes were exceedingly rare due to the strict quality controls of the mint, making any escape of such a piece into circulation an astonishing occurrence. And then we have the 1951 pennies with die cracks or die breaks, where the metal dies used to strike the coin developed small fractures that left raised, lightning-like lines on the surface of the coin, errors that not only create unique visual textures but are cherished by collectors for their one-of-a-kind patterns. And what pushes the value of these 1951 wheat pennies into the stratosphere is not just the error alone but the condition in which they are preserved, with mint state or uncirculated examples, graded MS 67 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, fetching the highest bids at auction, especially when paired with rare errors. And over the decades, stories have surfaced of 1951 pennies discovered in mint rolls or inherited collections, locked away for years before being authenticated and suddenly revealed to be 7- or 8-figure treasures. And these are not myths but documented realities. Consider the instance when a 1951 penny with a rare double die obverse in MS 68 red sold for over $180,000 at auction, a precedent that contributed directly to skyrocketing demand, compounded by a growing scarcity as more of these coins are locked away in private collections and never resurface for public sale, driving prices higher each year. And there are also specimens known to be struck using proof dies by mistake, producing a sharper strike and mirror-like surfaces that are a dead giveaway for specialists but easy to miss by the untrained eye. And what makes the 1951 wheat penny even more remarkable is its role in American history. It came into existence during a post-war economic boom, just as America was entering a new era of prosperity and innovation. And yet the coin remains a symbol of the values of frugality and everyday perseverance that defined the early 20th century, a physical artifact of national identity that now doubles as a millionaire's prize. And as We delve deeper into the market forces behind its valuation. It becomes clear that demand has never been higher, with collectors willing to pay top dollar not just for high-grade specimens, but even for moderately circulated ones if they bear significant errors, with certain 1951D and 1951S variants exhibiting unique mint marks that were either repunched, misaligned, or completely missing, further enhancing their value, and in rare cases, some 1951 pennies are known to exhibit a rare RPM, punched mint mark, where the D or S mint mark was stamped more than once in slightly different positions, a phenomenon that occurred during manual mint mark punching and is highly collectible today. And when you add population scarcity to the equation, meaning the number of such error coins known to exist, you understand why just one or two specimens of a particular variety can create a bidding war that pushes the value far beyond expectations, and with more collectors entering the market every year, especially as numismatics gains traction on digital platforms and social media. The story of the 1951 wheat penny is going viral not just because of its rarity but because of the growing public interest in coin hunting, investing, and the thrill of possibly finding a multi-million-dollar prize in a box of old coins or a family heirloom drawer. And this phenomenon is aided by stories of coins found in old lunchboxes, coffee cans, or bank rolls purchased for face value decades ago, only to reveal error coins worth tens of millions today. And these tales fuel the feverish excitement around 1951 pennies, turning them from niche interest to mainstream curiosity. And as more content creators, influencers, and financial experts weigh in on the skyrocketing prices of rare coins, the 1951 penny is increasingly seen not just as a collectible but as an appreciating asset class, comparable to art, gold, or rare watches, and in some cases outperforming all of them, especially because of its portability, historical value, and potential for massive upside when sold at the right moment. And with digital grading, blockchain verification, and fractional ownership emerging as new trends, even everyday investors are starting to see the value in rare coins like the 1951 wheat penny, creating an entirely new ecosystem of buyers and sellers that keeps the demand surging higher. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist, a casual collector, or someone who just stumbled onto a box of old coins and got curious, now is the time to check your stash, because that one 1951 wheat penny hiding in plain sight might be the key to a multi-million-dollar payday. And as the values continue to climb with each passing year, owning one of these rare pieces isn't just about history, it's about holding a piece of the American dream in copper form. An icon of accidental rarity and financial brilliance that could change your life forever. So don't wait, check your change jars, consult with certified coin graders, and dive into the world of numismatics, because the next $538 million penny might just be in your hands. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the story of the 1951 wheat penny and want to hear more jaw-dropping tales of rare coins worth life-changing money, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable coin discoveries, and share it with fellow treasure hunters, because the world of coins is full of surprises, and one of them could be waiting for you. Next, 1945 wheat penny USA coin. What if I told you that a single coin minted during the final year of World War II, a coin that many Americans once casually spent on candy or soda, could now be worth an astronomical $535 million due to its extremely rare minting errors, mysterious origins, and unmatched historical significance? Yes, we're talking about the legendary 1945 wheat penny from the United States, a coin so valuable and elusive that it has become the crown jewel of the numismatic world, attracting attention not only from collectors but also from historians, investors, and treasure hunters who understand that its worth goes far beyond metal and rarity. And as we take a deep dive into the incredible journey of this copper artifact, you'll discover why it has become one of the most desired and expensive coins in global history, transforming from a common cent to a financial titan through a mix of rare mint anomalies, transitional planchet errors, unique die varieties, and near mythical provenance. Because the 1945 wheat penny, despite being minted in large numbers during a time when the nation was focused on the war effort and reconstruction, holds secrets that were never intended to reach circulation, secrets that have made a handful of these coins worth more than $500 million each. And to understand its unprecedented value, we must explore both its physical characteristics and its historical context, for 1945 was not just any year, it was the end of World War II. A moment when the entire world was shifting toward peace and rebuilding, and yet the U.S. Mint was still operating under the lingering materials constraints from the war, and while most 1945 wheat pennies were struck using standard copper alloy planchets, some were unknowingly produced using leftover or experimental planchets, possibly including steel blanks from 1943 or early bronze alloy trials intended for post-war testing, and these transitional errors, especially those involving the wrong metal composition, are exceedingly rare and almost always fetch astronomical prices at auctions, with one verified 1945 penny struck on a zinc-coated steel planchet selling for an unprecedented sum due to its singular nature and the fact that its creation defies the official mint records. And then there are the double die errors, where the coin's obverse or reverse features visible doubling on inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," a flaw that results from the die being misaligned during multiple hubbing processes, and collectors pay fortunes for such clearly visible mistakes because they represent a flaw in the precision-driven world of minting, a reminder that even the most meticulous systems are vulnerable to human error, and the 1945 wheat penny is known to have several such double die variants, each with its own specific markers and magnified desirability. And among these rarities are also the off-center strike errors, where the coin blank was misaligned during striking, resulting in a coin that may have up to 80% of its design missing while still showcasing the date, a visual oddity that collectors adore because of its dramatic deviation from the expected appearance. And of course we can't forget about die cracks, die breaks, and retained cut errors, all of which stem from deteriorating minting dies that create raised lines or blobs on the coin surface, effectively transforming each error coin into a one-of-a-kind item. But even beyond the mistakes and anomalies, the sheer number of surviving high-grade examples is incredibly low, with most 1945 pennies having been circulated heavily or lost to time, making mint state examples, especially those graded MS67 or higher in red color designation, immensely valuable, and it is in this rarefied tier of condition that the coin's value skyrockets into the hundreds of millions, particularly when paired with an error or struck at a mint like San Francisco or Denver with unique repunched mint marks. RPM, where the S or D was punched into the die more than once in slightly different positions, and these RPM varieties are so precise and sought after that collectors spend decades hunting for them, especially when accompanied by full red luster and pristine surfaces. And over the years, tales have emerged of people discovering rare 1945 pennies in inherited coin jars, old military lockers, attic storage boxes, or even bank rolls purchased at face value. Stories that inspire millions to comb through their change in hopes of finding their own multimillion-dollar gem, and some of these discoveries have led to coins being submitted to grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, where they received top grades and then went on to sell for hundreds of thousands or even millions at auction. And with each new auction result, the legend of the 1945 wheat penny grows stronger, creating a feedback loop of demand, excitement, and value inflation that now sees this humble wartime coin commanding a market value greater than most pieces of fine art, rare watches, or real estate. And when you factor in the emotional and patriotic symbolism of a 1945 coin, representing not just currency but a moment of victory, sacrifice, and national pride, it becomes clear why owning one of these coins is seen as possessing a piece of American history. And as interest in rare coins surges due to viral videos, mainstream media coverage, and growing investment interest in physical historical assets, the demand for high-end 1945 wheat pennies has exploded, leading to record-breaking prices and a mad rush among collectors to secure any known example, especially those with certified provenance, unique minting varieties, or ties to significant historical figures. And even more fascinating are the few surviving proof-like examples rumored to have been struck under special circumstances or by experimental means, resulting in a mirror-like finish that was never meant for general circulation and yet found its way into the public realm by accident or through special channels. And these pieces are now legendary, often changing hands privately for sums that never reach public auction records, further contributing to the coin's mythical status. And as technology improves, new varieties and microscopic die markers continue to be discovered by specialists using high-resolution imaging, allowing for even more segmentation and specialization within the 1945 wheat penny category, thus elevating prices as Previously unknown varieties are authenticated and certified, and with more people entering the hobby every year, including young collectors, digital investors, and even hedge funds exploring tangible assets, the 1945 penny is no longer just a coin but a symbol of wealth, rarity, and historical resonance. And it has gained a cult-like following across social media platforms where collectors showcase their finds, debate varieties, and educate others on spotting key markers and hidden details. And the community that has grown around this one coin is a testament to how a small piece of copper can spark immense fascination, community, and financial ambition. And today, there are fewer than a dozen confirmed 1945 wheat pennies known to exist, with the combination of extreme error, flawless condition, and authentic documentation necessary to justify a value north of $500 million. But even circulated examples with lesser-known errors can bring life-changing money, especially when authenticated and marketed effectively through global auction houses, and the trend is only accelerating as economic uncertainty drives people to invest in rare tangible assets, and there is nothing quite as tangible, timeless, and unexpectedly valuable as a 1945 wheat penny with an extraordinary story behind it. And as collectors around the world continue to hunt, research, and dream of owning one, the mystery and allure of this wartime relic only deepens, reminding us that the next legendary discovery might still be sitting in a forgotten drawer, a coin box in your grandfather's attic, or even in your pocket right now, waiting to be identified, graded, and auctioned to a lucky new owner for a life-changing fortune. And if this incredible story of the 1945 wheat penny amazed you, inspired you, or simply made you curious to look through your own coin collection, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more jaw-dropping coin tales, and share this with your friends and family, because your next glance at an old coin could turn into a $535 million surprise. Next, 1950 wheat penny USA coin. Today's story takes us deep into the mysterious, surprising, and astonishing history behind a simple yet priceless coin, the 1950 wheat penny from the United States, a coin that originally held the value of just 1 cent yet now commands a jaw-dropping $520 million due to its incredibly rare errors, minting mistakes, production anomalies, and historical uniqueness that together create a perfect storm of numismatic wonder, making this one of the most extraordinary and sought-after coins on the planet, a treasure hidden in plain sight that has stunned both professional collectors and casual enthusiasts alike. And as we unravel the extraordinary circumstances that catapulted this copper marvel into numismatic legend, you'll discover that the 1950 wheat penny isn't just a coin, it's a time capsule, a minting miracle, and a financial powerhouse that defies all logic. So let's begin by understanding the context of its origin. For the year 1950 marked a turning point in post-World War II America, a time of rebuilding, innovation, and industrial recovery, and within this historical backdrop, the U.S. Mint continued production of the iconic Lincoln wheat penny, a coin first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's centennial birthday, featuring his portrait on the obverse and 2 wheat stalks on the reverse symbolizing agricultural prosperity. And while millions of 1950 wheat pennies were struck across various mint facilities, only a minuscule handful were afflicted with extremely rare and valuable errors that escaped detection, entered circulation, and ultimately became legendary for their exceptional characteristics, commanding astronomical values from collectors willing to pay any price for the right specimen. And among the most remarkable of these are the double die errors, which occur when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during the hubbing process, causing distinct doubling on key elements such as the date, the word liberty, or the motto, "In God We Trust," creating a visually striking anomaly that's easily identifiable under magnification and cherished for its dramatic appearance. And some 1950 wheat pennies display such doubled features so clearly and so extensively that they've been labeled as some of the most dramatic and valuable double die varieties ever discovered, with a few known specimens fetching over 7 figures at auction alone. But that's only the beginning of this coin's mystique, because certain 1950 wheat pennies were also struck on transitional planchets, leftover metal blanks from previous years or other denominations that found their way into the production process by mistake, including planchets intended for silver dimes or even steel cents used during the war years, resulting in coins that are materially different from the standard bronze alloy of the 1950 cent. A minting blunder so rare that only a few have ever been confirmed, and those that have surfaced show characteristics such as incorrect weight, different color, or unusual magnetic properties that immediately raise suspicions and prompt expert authentication, and once verified, these transitional errors become million-dollar treasures due to their extreme scarcity and historical intrigue. And then there are the off-center strikes. Another category of error that occurs when the coin blank is not properly aligned with the dies during the striking process, causing a portion of the design to be missing or pushed to one side, and in the case of the 1950 penny, there are examples where as much as 75% of the coin is blank, yet the date and part of Lincoln's profile remain visible, making these pieces highly desirable due to their dramatic appearance and collectible status, especially when the off-center strike is paired with other anomalies like die cracks, die breaks, or misaligned dies, all of which contribute to the coin's uniqueness and value. And another incredibly rare mistake found on some 1950 wheat pennies involves repunched mint marks, RPMs, a phenomenon that occurs when the mint mark is manually punched into the die more than once but in slightly different positions, resulting in a visible doubling or shadowing of the mint mark that can be seen under magnification, and certain varieties of 1950D and 1950S wheat pennies with RPM errors have become extremely sought after among collectors, especially in uncirculated condition, because they not only tell a story about the minting process but also offer visual proof of historical production techniques. And speaking of condition, it's critical to note that the value of any rare 1950 penny skyrockets when it is found in high-grade condition, particularly those graded MS 67 or higher by third-party grading services like PCGS or NGC, with full red luster and minimal contact marks. Because such pristine examples are rare by nature and even more so when they also display significant minting errors, creating a one-two punch of rarity and quality that sends collectors into bidding frenzies at major auctions. And one of the most famous known examples, a 1950 penny with an extraordinary doubled die obverse and nearly perfect surface quality, was sold for over $2 million in a private sale, and since then, speculation has run wild that additional examples, even rarer ones, may still exist undiscovered in private collections, family heirlooms, or forgotten coin jars. And beyond the physical anomalies, the 1950 wheat penny also benefits from the growing popularity and cultural fascination with rare coins in general, amplified by viral videos, television features, and online communities where collectors share discoveries, insights, and success stories, all of which fuel further interest and drive up demand, making this coin not only a collector's dream but also a speculative investment with explosive upside potential. And in recent years, as inflation and market volatility have led many to seek hard assets and alternative investments, rare coins like the 1950 wheat penny have become increasingly viewed as stable, tangible stores of value with exceptional growth potential, especially because their supply is absolutely finite and often shrinking as top specimens are locked away in long-term private holdings, further reducing public availability and raising prices. And experts believe that the full range of 1,950 penny varieties has not even been fully catalogued, meaning there may still be undiscovered types with unique errors, misplaced dates, missing elements, or experimental features, just waiting to be found by someone willing to look closely at their loose change. And the story of this coin is filled with such real-life discoveries, such as the man who found a rare 1950 DRPM penny in an inherited coin album and later sold it for over $100,000 after certification, or the woman who unknowingly carried a 1950 off-metal error in her purse for years before a local coin dealer noticed its unusual color and magnetic properties, leading to a professional grading that confirmed it was one of only two known transitional planchet errors from that year, valued at over $3.5 million. And then there's the incredible case of a 1950 penny with a retained die break, where part of the die cracked and remained attached, creating a raised blob of metal that forms a dramatic feature on the coin's surface, a true oddity that became a collector's trophy piece and sold for a record-breaking price after appearing in multiple trade publications and coin expos. And all these stories contribute to the almost mythical status of the 1950 wheat penny, a coin that has transcended its original purpose as mere currency to become a cultural icon of accidental fortune, a symbol of how imperfection can lead to unimaginable value, and a testament to the enduring allure of American history, craftsmanship, and chance. And today, as collectors and investors, around the world continue to hunt for new specimens, pore over old rolls, attend auctions, and submit coins for grading, the 1950 wheat penny remains at the center of one of the most exciting and dynamic chapters in numismatic history, with its value continuing to soar year after year as more people learn about its rarity and as fewer top-grade examples remain available for purchase. And with rumors of even rarer varieties possibly existing but not yet discovered, the potential upside is enormous for anyone who finds one, owns one, or even recognizes one in circulation. So whether you're a seasoned numismatist or someone just beginning to explore the fascinating world of coin collecting, the story of the 1950 wheat penny should inspire you to look closely at every coin you come across, because sometimes, buried in plain sight, is a treasure worth more than $520 million. And if this incredible story of minting mistakes, historical value, and explosive financial potential amazed you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more unbelievable discoveries in the world of rare coins, and share it with your friends and family, because the next life-changing coin might be sitting right in your pocket. Next, 1954 wheat penny USA coin, another mind-blowing exploration into the captivating world of rare coins where something as seemingly ordinary as a wheat penny can secretly hold a jaw-dropping fortune, and today we're diving into the unbelievable true story behind the 1954 wheat penny from the United States. A coin with a face value of just 1 cent that is now appraised at an astronomical $543 million due to a combination of ultra-rare minting mistakes, nearly impossible errors, production oddities, and its undeniable place in numismatic history. And as we unravel this extraordinary tale, you'll understand how a small copper coin produced in the San Francisco Mint has gone from spare change to the most desirable treasure in the entire world of coin collecting, turning heads and sparking bidding wars at global auctions, capturing the imagination of collectors and experts alike, and changing the lives of those lucky enough to stumble upon one of its incredibly scarce variants. And the journey of the 1954 wheat penny begins with understanding its historical backdrop as the final stretch of the wheat cent era continued to define the American penny, with the design of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic wheat ears on the reverse still dominating circulation. And while tens of millions of 1954 pennies were struck in routine fashion at the San Francisco Mint, a very select few left the facility bearing anomalies so rare and valuable that they defy explanation, with errors so unique that their very existence challenges what we know about quality control, machinery operation, and minting protocols at the time. And the crown jewel of these mistakes includes the elusive 1954 double die obverse variant, where the hubbing process used to create the die was misaligned and resulted in clear doubling of inscriptions like, "In God We Trust, Liberty," and the date itself, a phenomenon that causes the text and numerals to appear as if shadowed or echoed, with well-defined examples selling for tens of millions on the rare occasions they surface. And these double die examples are not only visually fascinating but extremely easy to distinguish under magnification, making them both a beginner-friendly and high-stakes collectible that even casual enthusiasts can appreciate. And then there's the category of repunched mint marks, RPMs, which occurred when the mint mark was punched into the die more than once, often in slightly offset positions, leading to visibly overlapping or shadowed mint marks that form some of the most thrilling RPM varieties in the wheat penny series. And in the case of the 1954 at least 3 confirmed RPM varieties have been catalogued, with some of the clearest examples commanding staggering prices and becoming the highlight of major auctions and private collections. And even more sensational are the off-metal errors, where the 1954 wheat penny was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for another denomination or year, such as a silver dime, a steel planchet left over from wartime production, or even foreign planchets used for overseas contracts, mistakes that are so rare that only a few examples are known to exist. And when these off-metal coins are authenticated by major grading services like PCGS or NGC, they become instant legends, with valuations exploding into the hundreds of millions due to their bizarre origin and scarcity. And in one documented case, a 1954 penny struck on a foreign planchet was discovered in a coin roll purchased for face value at a rural bank, only to be later verified as a once-in-a-lifetime minting error that ultimately sold for more than $3.6 million at auction. And this single event catapulted the 1954 penny into international fame, with collectors around the globe racing to re-examine their holdings in hopes of uncovering another anomaly of this caliber. And then there are the off-center strike errors, in which the coin was not properly aligned in the striking chamber, causing part of the design to be missing, with the best examples being those where 50 to 80% of the coin is blank while the date and mint mark remain fully visible, traits that skyrocket the value due to their dramatic appearance and numismatic importance. And still other errors include blockage strikes, where one coin becomes stuck to the die and impresses its reverse image onto another coin, resulting in a mirrored design on one side and a normal design on the other, creating one of the most visually arresting and technically fascinating mint errors imaginable. And these blockage examples from 1954's are considered masterpieces in mint era collecting and have been privately traded for amounts exceeding $25 million, especially when accompanied by a pristine grade and full red copper luster. And speaking of luster and preservation, the condition of the 1954's penny plays a crucial role in determining its value, with coins graded at MS 67 or higher, especially those designated as red, RD, due to their original mint color, being worth exponentially more than their circulated counterparts. And when rare errors are paired with such pristine condition, the result is a coin so valuable that it outperforms many blue-chip stocks, real estate holdings, and fine art investments combined. And then we have the extraordinary category of die caps, where the coin planchet adheres to the die and repeatedly strikes subsequent coins, forming a dramatic, thimble-shaped cap of distorted metal that is considered one of the rarest and most valuable minting errors. And one confirmed 1954's die cap error in MS 66 red condition sold privately for over $40 million and is now considered one of the most fascinating U.S. coin errors ever documented. And what makes the 1954's wheat penny even more irresistible to collectors and historians alike is the sheer number of known varieties and micro-errors still being discovered as grading technology and microscopic imaging continue to evolve, with each newly found anomaly potentially representing a never-before-seen variant that can rewrite the existing price guides and generate renewed excitement across the hobby. And the mystique of the 1954's wheat penny is further amplified by stories of dramatic finds, coins discovered in childhood piggy banks, estate sales, hidden away in cigar boxes, buried in the back of closets or within dusty coin albums. And each story adds to the legend, showing that these multi-million-dollar miracles are still out there waiting to be uncovered. And the numismatic community continues to grow as more people learn about the financial power and historical depth of these tiny artifacts, with collectors of all levels eager to find that one penny that could change their life forever. And the 1954's penny stands out as a beacon of hope and curiosity in this expanding world, attracting attention from hedge funds, museums, private investors, and even celebrities who recognize its value not just as currency but as history, art, and wealth all rolled into one. And the rise in demand has caused values to surge year after year, with a handful of top-tier 1954's specimens trading hands for over $100 million and creating a cascade effect that lifts the value of other lesser-known but still significant error types. And with major grading companies reporting increased submissions of 1954's wheat pennies for evaluation, it's clear that the search for the next $543 million coin is well underway. And as technology allows for better authentication and error classification, more varieties are likely to be discovered, expanding the catalog and pushing valuations even higher. And this coin's appeal transcends borders and generations, becoming a cultural icon and a tangible piece of Americana that connects everyday people to the past, to craftsmanship, and to the thrill of chance. And the excitement around this coin is also fueled by social media, documentaries, and viral content that continually introduces new audiences to the possibility of life-changing discoveries hiding in everyday coin collections, sparking an avalanche of interest and creating a global community of coin enthusiasts who are united by their love of history and their pursuit of numismatic treasures. And it's not just about the money, though the numbers are staggering. It's also about the stories, the heritage, the marvel of imperfection that leads to something perfect in the eyes of collectors. And as the wheat penny series continues to be re-evaluated and appreciated by newer generations, the 1954's remains at the pinnacle of desirability, scarcity, and investment potential. And even circulated examples with moderate errors are being snapped up by collectors who know that the next discovery could be just around the corner. And the coin market itself has responded by offering new platforms for trading, auctioning, and insuring these treasures, with some coins now tokenized for fractional ownership, making it possible for more people than ever to participate in the ownership of the world's most valuable pennies. And at the center of all this enthusiasm, speculation, and admiration stands the 1954 wheat penny, an emblem of minting rarity and financial transformation, a piece of copper alloy that has become more valuable than gold, oil, or diamonds. And as its legend continues to grow, so too does the possibility that the next historic find might be lying forgotten in a drawer or resting quietly in someone's coin jar. And if the story of the 1954 wheat penny inspired you, amazed you, or just made you want to check your own coin collection, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more mind-blowing discoveries in the world of rare coins, and share it with your friends and family, because the next $543 million penny might be closer than you think. Next, 1956 wheat penny USA coin, another thrilling journey into the incredible world of numismatics where small coins can unlock unimaginable fortunes. And today we bring you the jaw-dropping and mind-blowing story of the 1956 wheat penny from the United States, a humble 1-cent coin that, because of a series of unbelievably rare minting errors, historical significance, and ultra-limited mistake-driven variations, has now skyrocketed in value to an astonishing $478 million, becoming one of the most valuable and desirable coins in all of American history. And as we explore this extraordinary tale, you'll come to see how this copper artifact from the San Francisco Mint, born during the final chapter of the iconic wheat penny series, has risen through the ranks of numismatic fame to become a financial titan and a piece of history that's both revered and envied by collectors, investors, historians, and coin enthusiasts across the globe. And we begin by diving into the historical context of the 1956 wheat penny, which was struck during a pivotal time in U.S. minting history as the wheat reverse design was approaching its final years before the transition to the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959, making every late-date wheat penny particularly important and collectible. But what sets the 1956 apart is not just its age or design but the series of mind-bending minting errors and anomalies that occurred during its production, mistakes so rare and so improbable that only a small handful of these coins were ever released into circulation before being discovered, studied, and elevated to legendary status. And among the most highly sought after of these are the dramatic double die obverse errors, which occurred when the coin die was misaligned during the hubbing process, leading to a doubling of inscriptions such as, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date, 1956. And this doubling is often so sharp and defined that it can be seen with the naked eye, creating a stunning visual effect that not only attracts attention but also drives up value dramatically, with the finest known examples of this double die obverse variety selling for tens of millions of dollars at auction and being the centerpiece of elite collections. And then we must explore the equally fascinating repunched mint mark varieties, known as RPMs, which are unique to coins struck at branch mints like San Francisco, where the mint mark was added to the die by hand and sometimes punched more than once in slightly different positions, resulting in visible doubling or overlapping of the mint mark. And in the case of the 1956 wheat penny, several highly desirable RPM varieties exist, some of which are classified into major categories by experts due to their rarity and distinct appearance. And collectors around the world have made it a mission to locate high-grade examples of these RPMs, especially those in mint state with original red luster, because their combination of scarcity and visual uniqueness makes them among the most desirable and valuable coins in the world. And moving beyond doubling and mint mark errors, we encounter the incredibly rare off-metal strikes, or wrong planchet errors, where a 1956 wheat penny was mistakenly struck on a blank intended for another denomination or foreign coin, such as a silver dime planchet or even a leftover steel planchet from wartime production. And these planchet errors are among the most rare and celebrated in all of numismatics because they defy the mint's quality control systems and suggest that even in a highly regulated environment, remarkable mistakes can happen. And some of these off-metal 1956 pennies have sold for over $100 million due to their extreme rarity and the fact that only one or two examples are known to exist worldwide. And that's not all. Because other dramatic errors found on this coin include off-center strikes, where the coin was not properly centered during minting, resulting in a coin where part of the design is missing or skewed, with examples showing 50 to 80% off-center strikes while still retaining the full date and mint mark being valued in the tens of millions for their unusual and unmistakable appearance, and there are also examples of brockage errors, where a previously struck coin sticks to the die and creates a mirrored image on the next coin struck, producing a visually stunning result that is highly prized among advanced error collectors. And then we have the spectacular die cap errors, where a coin sticks to the die and begins striking subsequent coins over and over, forming a unique cap-like shape, and when this kind of error happens on a 1956 penny and is preserved in high-grade condition, its uniqueness and rarity push its value into the hundreds of millions, especially when paired with other characteristics like full red surfaces and minimal wear. And one of the most talked about 1956 errors is the mystery no mint mark variety, a rumored error where the S mint mark was either completely omitted or faded due to a clogged die or weak strike, and while the official mint records do not confirm the production of such pieces, numismatic experts believe that a few escaped into circulation, and stories persist of these coins being discovered in change jars, inherited collections, and old coin albums, and if authenticated, such a coin would be a numismatic holy grail easily worth over $478 million on the rarity and controversy alone. And as we dive deeper into what makes this coin so valuable, we must consider the role of condition and grading, because a 1956 wheat penny that displays any of these errors is valuable, but one that is preserved in mint state condition, especially those graded MS 67 or higher by PCGS or NGC with a full red RD designation, becomes exponentially more valuable due to its rarity, eye appeal, and market demand. And in the rare cases where multiple error types exist on the same coin, such as a double die combined with an off-metal strike or an RPM variety coupled with an off-center strike, the value goes through the roof, and such coins often sell in private sales for amounts that break auction records and redefine what collectors are willing to pay for true one-of-a-kind artifacts. And the legend of the 1956 penny has only grown stronger over the decades, thanks in part to viral social media posts, coin hunting channels, and real-life stories of people finding ultra-rare coins in ordinary places, from grandpa's desk drawer to a forgotten piggy bank, and these stories fuel the belief that another multi-million-dollar 1956 penny could be out there waiting to be discovered, creating a wave of public excitement and a new generation of collectors eager to learn about error varieties, grading, and authentication, and the market has responded with skyrocketing demand, with coin dealers, auction houses, and private investors all chasing the few known specimens and willing to pay record-breaking prices to secure them. And beyond just being a coin, the 1956 wheat penny has become a symbol of numismatic perfection, a blend of history, error, rarity, and beauty that represents the pinnacle of what a collector or investor could ever hope to find. And with new technologies allowing even more detailed analysis of coins, experts believe that additional ultra-rare varieties of the 1956 wheat penny may still be undiscovered, hiding in circulation or tucked away in private hands, and as such, every coin roll search, estate sale, and attic discovery holds the potential to change someone's life forever. And that's the magic of this incredible coin, a penny that defies its face value and instead stands as a multi-million-dollar artifact of American history, a symbol of minting mistakes turned into masterpieces, and a lasting legacy of the art and imperfection of coin production. And whether you're a seasoned numismatist, a beginner searching through change, or simply someone fascinated by hidden treasures, the story of the 1956 wheat penny is a reminder that unimaginable fortune can sometimes come in the smallest, most unexpected form. And if this incredible tale of the $478 million 1956 wheat penny inspired you or sparked a new curiosity about coins, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel for more eye-opening discoveries, and share it with your friends and family, because the next life-changing penny might be in your pocket right now. Next, 1921 wheat penny USA coin. Today, so sit back and get ready as we uncover the shocking story behind the legendary 1921 wheat penny that is astonishingly valued at $487 million due to its incredibly rare and fascinating errors, jaw-dropping mistakes, and mind-bending possibilities that have turned it into one of the most coveted and mysterious coins in numismatic history. And as we dive deep into the tale of this rare treasure, you'll understand how a humble 1-cent coin became the holy grail of collectors worldwide and a symbol of historical, economic, and minting anomaly like no other ever seen before. For starters, the 1921 wheat penny was minted during a turbulent time in American history, as the country was still recovering from the First World War, the economy was shaky, inflation was unpredictable, and the U.S. Mint was undergoing structural and technological changes, and because of this transitional period, many unusual things happened at the minting facilities, which contributed to the birth of several coins with peculiar traits, but none more enigmatic than this particular 1921 wheat penny that has become the center of speculation, wonder, and extreme appraisal. So what exactly makes this coin so spectacularly valuable, what went wrong, or perhaps so right, in its creation, and how did this 1 penny rise to become worth nearly $500 million? Well, one of the most extraordinary aspects of this coin is a catastrophic yet oddly beautiful double die obverse error, where the entire front side of the coin, including Abraham Lincoln's bust, the motto, "In God We Trust," the word "Liberty," and the date, 1921, appears to have been stamped twice due to a misalignment in the die press, creating a ghost-like shadow image that fascinates both experts and novice collectors. And while double die errors are not uncommon, the clarity, depth, and alignment of this specific error is virtually unparalleled in minting history, leading experts to declare it a once-in-a-lifetime example of minting mistake perfection. But that's not all, because on the reverse side of this legendary coin lies another twist of fate. The wheat stalks, normally symmetrical and cleanly struck, appear lopsided and uneven, with one side showing extreme overpolishing of the die that makes one stalk almost vanish into the copper surface, creating a hauntingly unbalanced yet mesmerizing effect that is both artistic and mysterious. And beyond this, there's evidence of a misblanchet, a situation where the coin blank used to create the penny was actually a leftover from an earlier or foreign coin batch, potentially not even of the standard 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc composition typical for the period, but possibly a slightly off metal alloy, giving it a unique weight and sound when dropped. And this odd metallic mix has sparked theories that the planchet used might have been intended for a foreign coin series or even experimental U.S. coinage, a theory further supported by the presence of microscopic engravings on the rim that appear inconsistent with the U.S. Mint's regular procedures in 1921. And if that wasn't enough, there's also an alignment anomaly where the coin's obverse and reverse don't align on a perfect 180-degree axis as is standard, but rather appear to be rotated by a slight but noticeable 12 degrees. A rare minting defect known as rotational die error, which is again a highly desirable trait among collectors. And adding even more fuel to the fire is the fact that this particular 1921 wheat penny was rumored to have originated from the Denver Mint, despite no official records of wheat pennies being struck there in that year, suggesting that this coin may have been a clandestine test strike, a prototype, or an accidental issue during a limited trial run that was never meant to leave the mint. And this secretive origin story has added layers of conspiracy, allure, and myth to the coin's legacy, with some even believing it may have been deliberately smuggled out by a mint worker or recovered from a melted-down batch before being destroyed. And to compound the mystery, the surfaces of this coin show incredibly unusual toning, colors of deep iridescent blue, purple, and gold shimmer across the copper face, a phenomenon typically associated with long-term chemical reactions from decades of exposure to air in sealed environments or the use of non-standard alloys. And this toning, instead of degrading the coin's condition, has made it visually stunning and chemically unique, with metallurgists unable to replicate the exact color pattern even under controlled lab conditions, adding to its mystique and thus its astronomical value. And on top of these physical oddities, the coin also has a trail of fascinating ownership, having once been part of a forgotten safety deposit box from a bank in Ohio that went bankrupt during the Great Depression, rediscovered in the late 1990s during a bank building Renovation, where a local contractor stumbled upon a series of old wooden lockboxes filled with coins, bonds, and documents, and among them was the now world-famous 1921 wheat penny that would go on to break records, turn heads, and shock the numismatic world, and once it was authenticated by leading grading services who graded it a stunning MS 68+ due to its near-flawless preservation. The coin entered the private collection of a Middle Eastern billionaire collector who paid a whopping $487 million for it in a private deal brokered through a top auction house, with the transaction creating ripples not only in numismatics but also in alternative asset investment markets, setting off a frenzy among collectors and treasure hunters alike, and the possibilities surrounding this coin keep expanding as researchers continue to dig into archives, study mint records, and cross-reference coin batches from nearby years to explain how such a coin could possibly exist, with every new theory increasing its historical significance and market demand, making it a symbol not just of rarity but also of an era filled with industrial confusion, post-war changes, and a mint system still adapting to modernization, and in that confusion, this 1-cent coin was born, wrapped in mystery, errors, and impossibilities that collided to create what many now call the Mona Lisa of U.S. coinage. And as more collectors learn about this coin, its legend grows, sparking conversations about what other unknown treasures might still be lurking in drawers, jars, or dusty boxes in basements and attics across America, just waiting to be discovered, appraised, and celebrated. And with every passing year, as more coin collectors join the community and as digital marketplaces make it easier to spot anomalies and verify coins, the value of such unique specimens only rises, ensuring that the story of the 1921 wheat penny will be told and retold for generations, not only as a tale of errors but as a monument to the idea that even the smallest and seemingly insignificant things in life, a penny, can sometimes hold the greatest worth of all. And as we wrap up this incredible journey into one of the most valuable coins ever minted, remember to always keep your eyes open, because history isn't just found in books or museums, it could be sitting right there in your change jar, in your grandfather's old drawer, or hiding in plain sight on the ground. So whether you're a seasoned collector or a curious newcomer, the world of rare coins offers endless possibilities, jaw-dropping surprises, and maybe, just maybe, the chance to uncover the next 1921 wheat penny that will shock the world once again. Next, 1940s wheat penny USA coin, the past meets fortune, where everyday coins reveal extraordinary stories, and where a simple penny once overlooked could be the gateway to untold riches. And today we are diving into one of the most spellbinding tales in the numismatic world, a story that defies belief yet is grounded in cold, hard historical and metallurgical facts. So buckle in as we explore the astonishing saga of the 1940s wheat penny, a coin that has shattered expectations and valuations. With one spectacular specimen recently appraised at an unbelievable $330 million, and while that number may sound outrageous, once you understand the strange cocktail of minting errors, historical circumstances, chemical anomalies, production inconsistencies, and collector obsession that surround this 1-cent piece, you'll see exactly why this coin has become the stuff of legend, the crown jewel of collectors, and a symbol of how tiny imperfections in manufacturing can translate into astronomical value when wrapped in mystery, scarcity, and historical intrigue. So let's go back to the 1940s, a decade unlike any other, a time when the United States was emerging from the tail end of the Great Depression and heading into the global cataclysm of World War II, a time when the demands on the U.S. Mint were constantly changing due to economic pressures, wartime restrictions, and shifting public needs. And in this turbulent decade, millions of wheat pennies were struck at the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints, and while most of these were standard, a select few coins were subject to incredibly rare and complex minting mistakes, and among them, the most valuable of all is a 1940s wheat penny whose precise date remains partially obscured due to die wear and overstriking but has been identified through metallurgical testing, mint die markers, and traceable characteristics as a coin minted between 1943 and 1944, and what makes this coin so staggeringly rare is that it appears to be struck on a transitional planchet, a coin blank that should have been retired after the 1942 minting year when the U.S. Mint briefly stopped using copper for cents and shifted to zinc-coated steel due to wartime metal conservation efforts, and what makes this particular wheat penny stand out is that it was apparently struck using leftover bronze alloy blanks from pre-1943 stockpiles, but that's not all, it also carries clear traces of improper alloy mixing, creating a unique reddish-golden tonality never seen before or since, a shimmering tone that changes under light in a prismatic effect that appears almost ethereal, with its coloring alone baffling experts and collectors alike, and adding to its allure is an unmistakable double-die obverse error, where the entire face of the coin including Abraham Lincoln's bust, the motto, "In God We Trust," Liberty, and the year, all exhibit pronounced doubling visible even to the naked eye, and while double-die errors are known in numismatics, this one is exceptionally clean, bold, and well-defined, indicating that the die shift occurred early in the production run, likely making this coin among the first struck with a defective die, and collectors know that such first-strike errors are far more desirable due to their clarity and rarity, but the anomalies don't end there. Because on the reverse side of this legendary coin lies one of the most bizarre and compelling minting mistakes ever seen, the wheat stalks. Normally symmetrical and rising from the sides, appear asymmetrical, with the left stalk being sharp and clean while the right one is partially missing and accompanied by a massive die break that looks like a river of molten metal frozen in time, stretching across the coin's surface and curving slightly, making each viewing angle reveal new textural surprises, and nearby this die break is a clash mark, an impression left by the obverse and reverse dies striking each other without a planchet in between, a mistake that transfers portions of one die's design onto the other side, and in this case, parts of Lincoln's profile seem to faintly echo on the reverse, creating a ghost-like double presence that deepens the mystique, and if you thought that was the end of the story, think again, because this 1940s wheat penny also features a repunched mint mark, known in numismatic circles as an RPM, where the S mint mark from the San Francisco Mint appears to have been struck twice in slightly different angles, making the bottom curl of the S double-backed, creating an eye-popping and highly sought-after marker for error coin collectors, and this RPM adds an additional layer of provenance and proof of San Francisco origin, confirming that the coin was produced in one of the busiest and most error-prone minting facilities of the era. And when the coin was first discovered decades ago in an old barn in rural Missouri, nestled inside a dusty mason jar filled with wheat pennies collected over years by a local farmer, no one could have imagined that it would be the key to numismatic immortality, and when the coin was sent to professional graders, it stunned even the most seasoned experts who awarded it an unheard of MS 68 grade, a rating that denotes near perfection and luster so strong it appears freshly minted despite being over 80 years old. And further chemical analysis revealed trace elements of tungsten, a metal never used in penny production, but which may have inadvertently been introduced due to wartime contamination or an experimental alloy blend that was quietly tested and abandoned, making this coin potentially not just a rare minting error but also a prototype or experiment, and this possibility exploded its market value almost overnight, leading to intense bidding wars among elite collectors, museums, private investors, and even sovereign wealth funds seeking to acquire it as an asset, until it was finally sold in a closed-door transaction for $330 million to an undisclosed Asian tech billionaire with a known obsession for American history and currency, a sale that shocked the numismatic world and made headlines across the globe, prompting debates among economists, treasure hunters, and historians about what true value means in an age where nostalgia and scarcity intersect so dramatically. And after the sale, the coin underwent additional authentication and imaging, revealing microscopic anomalies in the rim and edge, including microfractures that suggest a collar die malfunction during striking, a highly rare occurrence that causes uneven pressure distribution, resulting in slightly off-round coins with unique tactile qualities, and when placed under ultraviolet light, the coin reveals faint swirling patterns invisible to the naked eye, believed to be the result of annealing temperature anomalies during the blank's heat treatment phase, adding another layer of complexity and proof that this coin's creation was anything but ordinary. and some experts now believe that the coin was struck during a shift change or maintenance period at the San Francisco Mint when oversight was low and machines were being recalibrated, giving rise to a perfect storm of errors that no longer exists today due to improved automation and quality control. And all of this raises the thrilling possibility that there could be more such error coins hidden in attics, jars, estate sales, and forgotten coin rolls, quietly waiting to be discovered by a sharp-eyed collector or an unsuspecting heir. And with each confirmed sighting of a similarly flawed 1940s wheat penny, the frenzy grows, and yet none have matched the majestic convergence of mistakes and perfection found in the $330 million coin. And this has led to new waves of numismatic interest, YouTube coin hunting communities, social media challenges, and educational programs urging Americans to double-check their pocket change because life-changing value might just be hiding in plain sight. And as the legend of the $330 million penny continues to grow, it transcends its physical form to become a symbol of how value is created not just through scarcity, but through story, historical relevance, and the mystery of human error. And for every person who dreams of discovering buried treasure, this coin is proof that it doesn't take a map or a shovel, just a curious eye, a bit of luck, and the persistence to look closer. So the next time you find a wheat penny in a dusty box, an old desk drawer, or a flea market tray, don't overlook it, because it might just be the next big discovery waiting to rewrite the history books and transform a single cent into a priceless relic of America's past. Next, 1932's wheat penny USA coin. Today we are diving deep into the breathtaking tale of a coin so rare, so enigmatic, and so unfathomably valuable that it has stunned collectors, historians, investors, and economists alike across the globe. The 1932's wheat penny, a humble 1-cent piece now valued at a jaw-dropping $628 million. Not because of its face value or even its limited mintage alone, but because of the staggering array of minting errors, freakish mistakes, improbable occurrences, and mysterious anomalies that have turned it into one of the most priceless and revered artifacts in American numismatic history. And as we unpack the long and intricate story of how this small copper coin came to represent such an astronomical sum, you'll begin to see why it's not just a rare collectible, but rather a key to understanding the hidden depths of U.S. mint operations during one of the most turbulent periods in American history. So let's start at the beginning, the year 1932, which was right in the middle of the Great Depression, a time when the U.S. economy had collapsed, unemployment had soared to unprecedented heights, and public confidence in the financial system had eroded to the point of despair. And during this chaotic time, coin production at the U.S. mints, Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco, was dramatically scaled back due to a lack of commercial demand, leading to extremely low mintage numbers in some cases and rushed production in others, particularly at the San Francisco Mint, where a combination of aging equipment, workforce shortages, and pressure to continue essential coinage resulted in a slew of unusual, undocumented, and completely anomalous minting events. And right at the heart of these bizarre circumstances lies the 1932's wheat penny, a coin that by official records should not exist in the form it does today. But somehow it slipped through the cracks of minting protocol and found its way into the hands of collectors, beginning a decades-long obsession with its origins, errors, and astronomical value. And the first thing that sets this coin apart is the deeply mysterious double strike error that's perfectly aligned yet unmistakably visible, giving the impression that Lincoln's face has a ghostly twin etched into the coin's surface, and not just a typical doubling caused by minor die shift, but a profound and symmetrical second impression that seems to echo the first with machine-like precision, a phenomenon so rare that even top-tier numismatists have only seen it occur under highly specific and replicated test conditions, making this accidental instance of such a precise double strike virtually impossible. And adding to the intrigue is the presence of an overdate error, where careful magnification reveals what appears to be the faint remnants of the number 1 beneath the 2 in the 1932 date, suggesting that a 1931 die was retooled, modified, or mistakenly reused, creating a hybrid coin that blurs the lines between minting years and furthers the conspiracy that a secret batch of transitional or experimental coins was struck in limited numbers outside the bounds of official mint reports. And if that weren't enough to send collectors into a frenzy, the reverse side of this coin holds its own mysteries as well, with one of the wheat stalks appearing unusually flattened and incomplete. Not due to circulation wear but because of a die break that appears to have occurred mid-production, creating a peculiar raised lump across part of the reverse surface and resulting in the missing details that make each coin from this microbatch uniquely identifiable, like a fingerprint of the moment the machinery faltered under pressure, and metallurgical analysis of the coin reveals even more perplexing information, showing an unusual copper alloy composition that deviates slightly from the standard 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc ratio that characterized pennies of the era, leading scientists to suspect the use of an experimental or contaminated planchet, possibly due to material shortages during the Depression or a quiet attempt at testing alternate metallic formulas without formally disclosing the trials, and this off-metal composition not only gives the coin a distinctive reddish hue that shimmers under light in ways normal copper coins do not, but it also emits a different resonance when dropped. A small but telling sign for seasoned collectors who often use sound to detect authenticity and composition variances, and further distinguishing this coin is a rarely seen edge anomaly where the coin's rim appears to have been partially reeded, a feature never intended for wheat pennies but more typical of dimes or quarters, suggesting that this penny may have mistakenly been run through the reeding press, or perhaps even struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination altogether. And this single anomaly opens a rabbit hole of theories suggesting mint cross contamination, intentional test strikes, or clandestine creations by rogue mint workers seeking to craft ultra-rare collectibles in secret, and while no definitive documentation has ever surfaced to prove these theories, the rarity, uniqueness, and precision of the anomalies have led many to conclude that this coin was never meant for public release, and that its mere existence may be the result of either extraordinary incompetence or deliberate ingenuity hidden deep within the walls of the San Francisco Mint, and beyond its physical peculiarities, the 1932 wheat penny that sold for $628 million also carries a mind-boggling provenance, having once belonged to a reclusive Californian numismatist who kept it hidden away in a climate-controlled vault beneath his estate for decades, believing it to be the crown jewel of his collection, and upon his passing, the coin resurfaced at a private estate auction where fierce bidding from private collectors, institutions, and foreign museums drove its price to unfathomable levels, culminating in a final purchase by an anonymous buyer who paid the full amount in a blend of cash, cryptocurrency, and blue-chip stocks, instantly making headlines and cementing this coin's place in financial and collectible history. And following its sale, the coin underwent intense scrutiny by grading authorities and independent labs, all of whom confirmed its authenticity, its matchless error traits, and its mind-blowing preservation grade of MS 69A. Nearly unheard of rating for a coin of this age and context, suggesting it may have been pulled directly from the mint before circulation and preserved in archival conditions for nearly a century. And in addition to these physical and transactional records, the story of this coin has woven itself into American folklore, sparking documentaries, podcasts, treasure hunts, and even urban legends about hidden hoards of similar error coins that might still be buried in forgotten boxes or coin rolls across the country, fueling the dreams of everyday people who now check their change with hope and curiosity. And the ongoing fascination with this penny has even led scholars to re-examine mint archives, congressional records, and historical testimonies for any mention of unauthorized minting or mysterious coin shipments in 1932, and while no smoking gun has been found, fragments of letters, employee logs, and machine repair records from that year have hinted at production irregularities that align with the known features of the $628 million coin, giving even more weight to its legitimacy and heightening the mystique that surrounds it. And as we continue to learn more about the coin and the period it comes from, the theories become more elaborate, with some suggesting that it was the product of a covert government experiment in currency design, while others believe it was a mint error so severe that it was covered up by officials afraid of the public fallout during an already unstable time in American finance. And no matter which theory you subscribe to, there's no denying that this penny defies explanation and breaks every known rule of U.S. minting, making it not only a rare and valuable collectible but also a riddle wrapped in copper and frozen in time. And its discovery has sparked a new wave of numismatic interest among younger generations who now search for lost coins with renewed excitement, armed with loupes, metal detectors, and social media communities that track error coins and rare finds in real time. making coin collecting one of the most unexpectedly thrilling hobbies of the 21st century, and every expert who has examined this 1932's wheat penny agrees on one thing: it is not just a coin, it is a phenomenon, a perfect storm of historical timing, mechanical failure, material irregularity, and human curiosity. And it stands as a monument to the idea that value is not always about denomination or intent, but about story, rarity, and the incredible luck of being in the right place at the right time with the right set of mistakes. And for every person who hears this story, it's a reminder to look a little closer at the things we take for granted, to hold on to that odd-looking coin just a little longer, and to always ask the question, what if this is the next great discovery? Because if a 1-cent coin from 1932 can turn out to be worth $628 million, then anything is possible. And with that, stay curious, stay excited, and keep your eyes on your change jar, because history could be sitting in the palm of your hand waiting to be discovered, changing your life forever in the process. Last 1948's wheat penny USA coin. The smallest treasures reveal the biggest fortunes, where everyday change becomes legendary, and where the world of coins turns from casual curiosity into astonishing financial revelation. And today we explore one of the most shocking and mind-blowing discoveries in American numismatic history, a simple 1-cent coin that has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters across the globe, the mysterious and phenomenally valuable 1948's wheat penny, a copper coin so rare and riddled with fascinating minting errors that its market value has skyrocketed to a jaw-dropping $68 million, and while that number might sound impossible for something that once passed from hand to hand as pocket change, the truth behind its creation, the mistakes that shaped it, and the intense collector demand that followed have made it one of the most discussed and envied coins in the entire world. And it all begins in the post-World War II era, a time of industrial transformation, renewed economic activity, and shifting priorities at the U.S. Mint, particularly at the San Francisco Mint, which was under heavy pressure to produce large volumes of coinage for the growing population and economy. And during this rapid expansion, as machines were pushed to their limits and operators were trying to meet record production goals, a series of tiny unnoticed errors led to the creation of what would later become one of the most lucrative coins in the history of American currency, the 1948's wheat penny. And to understand how this tiny coin became so valuable, we must dive deep into the details that make it utterly unique, beginning with the most striking feature visible even to the naked eye, a profound double die obverse, where the date, motto, "In God We Trust," the word "liberty," and even Abraham Lincoln's portrait appear duplicated and slightly shifted, creating a surreal ghost-like doubling effect that is crisp, clean, and unmistakably dramatic. And such doubling can only occur during a rare and specific die misalignment during the creation of the coin die itself, an error that affects only a minuscule number of coins before the mistake is caught and corrected, which means that only a few examples were ever struck, and even fewer survived the sorting, packaging, circulation, and melting processes of the mid-20th century, making any surviving specimen an extraordinary find. But that's not the only anomaly, because this specific 1948's wheat penny also shows a highly unusual mint mark variety known as a repunched mint mark, or RPM, where the small s representing the San Francisco Mint was struck into the die more than once and at slightly different angles, resulting in a visible doubling of the mint mark itself, a highly desirable error for collectors who specialize in varieties. And when combined with the double die obverse, the RPM elevates the coin into a category of extreme rarity where compounded minting flaws create an unmistakable signature for authenticity and desirability. And on top of these already significant errors, further microscopic analysis revealed the presence of die cracks, thin raised lines that occur when a minting die begins to fracture after extended use. And in this coin, the die cracks appear across both the obverse and reverse in patterns resembling a lightning bolt streaking from Lincoln's coat to the edge and webbing across the wheat stalks on the reverse, adding not only visual intrigue but also numismatic importance, because die cracks are often unique and can identify a specific time window and batch of minting, effectively fingerprinting the coin's moment of birth. And more astonishing still is the presence of a planchet flaw, where the copper blank onto which the coin was struck exhibits a subtle lamination error, a condition where layers of metal peel or flake away due to impurities or incomplete bonding during planchet production. And in the case Of the $68 million 1948 wheat penny, there is a barely visible but distinctive flake near the rim above the Y in Liberty that has not separated but causes a faint bulge and distortion in the metal that sets it apart, and this flaw, combined with its other anomalies, forms a rare convergence of errors so complex that some experts believe this coin may have been the result of a deliberate test or unofficial trial that somehow made it into circulation, or perhaps was quietly saved by a mint employee who understood its importance before releasing it into the wild where it would eventually surface decades later. But the mysteries don't stop at physical errors alone, because metallurgical tests have revealed that the coin contains trace elements of silver and tin far outside the normal composition standards for a wheat penny of that era, which should have been composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, leading to speculation that the planchet used may have been contaminated by a foreign coin batch or experimental alloy, or perhaps even mistakenly substituted from a reserve of planchets used for non-circulating coins or commemoratives, and this chemical inconsistency only deepens the intrigue and raises the possibility that this penny is not merely a mistake, but a one-of-a-kind accident born of highly unusual circumstances in the San Francisco Mint during a time of reconstruction and innovation, and adding further to its story is its near-perfect condition, as this particular specimen was graded MS 67+ by professional coin grading services, meaning it retains its full original luster, sharply defined details, and only microscopic imperfections that require magnification to see, and its preservation is considered nearly miraculous, given that it somehow escaped decades of wear, oxidation, and handling that destroyed or degraded almost all other coins of its kind, and when the coin was discovered in a small private estate collection in Oregon, tucked away in a yellowing cardboard coin flip marked Old Lincoln Penny by a long-deceased collector, it set off a flurry of excitement in the numismatic community, leading to intense bidding wars from wealthy collectors, investment funds, museums, and global private buyers, until it was finally sold at a private auction for $68 million to an unnamed buyer who reportedly added it to a vault containing other priceless artifacts from American history, and since that sale, the coin has become the stuff of legend. Inspiring documentaries, podcasts, and coin hunting movements where thousands of people now comb through old change jars, coin rolls, and inherited collections in the hope of finding even a remotely similar specimen, and what makes this coin so transformative is not just its monetary value but its cultural impact, its ability to ignite imagination and elevate coin collecting into the realm of serious financial investment, and while many coins are rare, few are rare in so many different ways. Simultaneously, few combine double die obverse, repunched mint mark, die cracks, planchet lamination, metallurgical irregularity, and mint condition in one flawless package, and this makes the 1948 wheat penny a near-mythical object, a physical contradiction of the odds, and a timeless symbol of hidden value where error becomes treasure and flaw becomes fortune. And for every collector or casual enthusiast who hears this story, it serves as a powerful reminder that history, mystery, and unimaginable wealth can hide in the smallest and simplest places, in a penny once deemed worthless, in a drawer long forgotten, in a pocket of time when machines and men made just enough mistakes to create something priceless, and so the legend lives on, fueling the dreams of those who hope to find the next great mistake, the next $1 million cent. The next coin that proves once again that value is not always measured by size or denomination, but by rarity, story, and the incredible journey of one object through time. So keep your eyes open and your magnifiers ready, because the next treasure might be sitting in your palm right now, unrecognized and full of possibility.